Hi, welcome to Paleo Greenbird. This is Greenbird, and today's video is going to be a flint knapping video. I haven't done one in a while, so I apologize for that, but I do expect to have some more content very soon. And today I wanted to do a video really just about flaking. This video is going to sort of be a little bit of a rant, so if that's not something you're interested in, you can go ahead and just shut the video off. But I was on one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, and there was a person who decided they were going to stop flint knapping and sell all of their tools. And the person had posted that, I've been flint knapping for a couple months now and can't seem to make the return on investment, I suppose. Spending more money on rock and materials than really what they could produce. And that's unfortunate, because that's just going to be the case. So I wanted to put this video out so that people don't get discouraged. When I first started flint knapping, and granted, people have done it a lot faster, and I'm not the best knapper out there, but I probably went through 100 pounds of stone before I really could get a decent point. And that's just the way it is. This is not an easy craft to learn. This is not one of those things where you can do a lot of research and then get out there and learn it real quick. It's just not going to happen. You need to put in the time. You need to put in the hours. So today I thought I'd do a video that was really just about flakes, about taking good flakes. Because that's really what you want to focus on when you first start is how to take good flakes. So if you've watched my videos, obviously a good flake starts with a platform. I've got some mahogany obsidian here. I don't tend to knap a lot of obsidian because it's really messy and I always get cut. So I'm cheating today. I'm going to wear my glove just because I don't feel like getting cut. And I thought I'd just go over a little bit about taking some good flakes and how to tell if you're taking good flakes and just having fun practicing. It's kind of like, if you're a sports person, it's kind of like football. If you want to be good at football, you can't just get on the field and do it and keep practicing and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. You got to do the drills. You got to run, because you're going to have to run in the game. So you have to spend time just running on your free time. You've got to spend hours and hours throwing the ball. Even though there's just someone out on the other side catching it, it's not. You're not in the game, but you gotta just keep practicing and practicing and practicing. You gotta practice those zigzags, you gotta do your push-ups, your weightlifting, everything, so that when you get in the game, you have the skills that you need. And flint knapping is really no different. So there's nothing wrong with just taking a piece of rock, just seeing what kind of cool flakes you can get. Maybe you can use those flakes later, maybe you can't. But that's the best way to use your skills, or increase your skills, rather. So I've got this piece of mahogany obsidian, and I might get a point out of it, I might not, but I'm just going to have some fun taking some flakes. I know I'll be able to do something with the flakes later. So I'm going to look for a good platform. I see a low one right there. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to take that one. So I'm going to grind it. That's pretty well ground. So I'm going to use my medium billet, I think. I could probably get away with a small, but I'm going to use a medium. And I'm just going to try and get a nice, clean flake, just to even that off. Not sure if you can see that. So I'm going to go down and in, just kind of practicing my striking. That was a bad hit. That's okay, it happens. There we go. Heard that noise. I got a flake, but I got a lot of crushing too, so nothing to be super excited about. But that's actually good, because now I know what effect happened on the stone that I produced through my strike. So I'll try and clean that up a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a nice little platform over here. Sometimes you got to make the platforms, they're not there for you. It's been a while since I've worked obsidian. It's a soft stone, so it's a little bit, it can be challenging to work if you haven't worked with it in a while. And if you can see it, I set myself up with a nice platform right there. And I grind it. I'm going to try and take off all that junky stuff right there. You can see that. I don't know what the camera's picking up and what it's not, but yeah, so this guy was really discouraged and decided to sell his stuff, and it, really made me think. I was disappointed because, you will get this. It will eventually click, and even if you're not fantastic at it, it's just a fun hobby, and I hate to see anybody get discouraged and not want to continue. Still not a great sound. I'm hitting a little bit hard because I've been working a lot of hard stone lately. And that's just the way it goes. No matter how long you've been napping, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you just have some bad days. Double up my fast here. There's no excuses. I mean, it is what it is. There we go. That was a nice clean flake. You can see, look at the size of that. Put that on there, back where it came from. That's the flake that came off of it. I'm going to save that flake. I can definitely do something with that. And that's what I'm trying to do today. Just trying to take some flakes. I'm getting used to this stone again. Don't settle for bad platforms. If you've got a bad platform, just take the time and fix it. All you have to do to make a good platform is just straight down strokes. A little flake there, I didn't really want to, but that's okay. I'm still thinning. Obsidian is kind of tricky. It's real soft. You gotta be careful with it. A lot of times people think it's easy because it's like it's an easy thing to start with. And to some, in some respects it is, but in others, I don't really believe it is. It's a little bit wonky of a platform, but I'm going to take it anyway. Okay, got a little bit off. Not as much as I wanted, but at least I cleaned up that platform. Looks a lot better now. But you want to look at your stone. Just because you have a platform doesn't mean you want to take it. So I've got this thick edge here in the back. I'm thinking I should probably do something about that. And I see a little bit of an aggressive platform here. But still, I need to thin this stone, so I'm going to do it. And again, I don't care if I get a point out of this or not. My goal here today is to see how many really good, clean flakes I can get. I'm chalking this stone up to practice. Don't get discouraged if you can't make a point. You'll get there if you keep practicing. So, work on my angle here. Give myself some nice back support on this side so I don't break the piece. Especially since I'm hitting so aggressively. And by aggressively I mean this platform is very, very low and very thick. So normally I would like to see more of a smile in kind of a, more of a ridge I can follow. There's a little bit of a ridge here, but this is really, really thick. This is basically just smacking the stone and hoping I get a good flake. And look at that, I did. Try and put this flake back down. I dropped it. Try and put the flake back together so you can see it. But as you can see, this is the platform that I hit. And that's the flakes, those are the flakes that came off. So I thinned it out. Got my flake pile, use those later. So I'm starting to actually thin this a little bit. And I'm going to take a look at the rock and see, try and get an idea of where are the thick points, what do you want to thin next, what's going to help you get to that next stage. And that's a lot of it right there. So I think what I'm going to do, and also you want to think, as far as taking the flakes, what's going to clean up the rock and what is going to give you the best flake. Obviously, if you've got a step fracture, you don't want to hit into the step fracture because your flake will stall, will just make it worse. You want to wait until you can clean it up from the other side. Don't be impatient. Which we all do. I know I'm kind of preaching here, but it just, it really made an impact on me when this person said they were going to stop napping because they weren't having luck, and I hate to see that happen. So anyway, I'm going to look for a good platform here as I spin this around. And, if I smash this rock into a million pieces, at least I got a couple flakes over here that I'll be able to make something with. It's not a loss. I'm sure it happened to the old boys too. Alright, so I'm going to take this thick spot right here. I think I'm going to trim up my platform a little bit. I should probably bill it down, but I'm not going to. There we go. Now when you're creating your platforms, the only thing you have to be careful of is this. Sometimes you can actually create a turtle on your piece, like right here. I made myself a nice platform, but look how high the rest of that stone is. So I'm going to have to be careful of that. And this is not the best platform ever, but I'm going to take it anyway. Flakes off of it, thinned it out nicely. Look at that. Left myself with another platform right there. It's always nice when that happens. So I'm gonna grind it. Never underestimate the grind. Grinding in flint knapping is sort of like measuring in carpentry. Measure twice, cut once. Over grind, you get a good flake. Under grind, you just cause yourself a bunch of problems. Some stone's easier to grind than others. This one platform is it's not really taking a grind, but just keep at it until it does. There we go. So I'm going to try and get rid of that nub right there. If you can see that, I hope you can. There we go. There's the flake. So here's my platform that I struck, and there's the flake that came off. Don't need to be over aggressive. Small flakes. Just take small flakes and keep taking them and taking them and taking them. They add up. You don't need to take it all at once. And, as you can see, as with any good flake, it left me with another platform right here. So I can keep thinning. So I'm having some pretty good luck. Considering I'm not trying to make a point, I'm just trying to get some good flakes. And out of one of the, one of these spalls, you can take 10, 15 flakes, and there you go. You've got 10 or 15 points. You don't have to make 1 point out of your spall. They don't have to look super sexy like you see on, the websites and stuff like that. A point just has to be sharp, has to be able to penetrate and kill. Doesn't need to be perfect, so don't give up. Alright, this is a little bit off center, but I'm going to try and take it anyway. I think I'm going to bill it down. To the smaller billet, just for this one strike. Now, you know what? I'm going to stick with the bigger one. Still pretty thick. There we go. You heard that nice sound? There's my flake. Look at that. That's a great feeling when you get a flake like that. Even if I turn this to dust, if I can keep getting flakes like that, at least I know I'm learning and I'm doing something right. Now I have been working this one side a little bit more than the other side, so I want to be careful of that. It's not a bad thing, you just want to be careful of it. Make sure you're not losing your center line. I think I'm going to take this fat spot off the back right here. Just to try and keep things symmetrical as much as possible. Sometimes you can't, sometimes you have to even it out later. Crumbled a little bit, but I got a decent flake. So now I'm going to look at my piece and see where my center line is, which I should have already known. So I can see it. I got to raise it on this side. This side needs to be raised quite a bit to compare to that, or at least kind of find a happy in between. So even though it's still kind of roughed out, I'm going to do a little bit of shaping. Alright. It's never too early to do a little bit of shaping. Make sure you don't get end shock. Make sure you're supporting your whole piece here. If you're going to nap off the leg, off the leg. If you're going to free nap, make sure you're supporting. Alright, so we get a rough shape going here. Now we're ready to do some more thinning. So I'm just going to grind the whole thing. That's a habit I've gotten into, not just because it helps you grind, but when you're not wearing a glove, which I normally don't, it keeps you from cutting yourself on the other parts of the spall, other parts of the biface, whatever stage you're in. So I would say just grind all the time. You can never overgrind. Literally the only time that you can overgrind is when you're trying to put that micro finish on, that last little bit. So I have plenty of platforms up here on the top I can take, but I need to start addressing this base here, because if that gets too fat, that's not only going to make it difficult for me to thin it down, but it's going to contribute to end shock as I continue to point. I don't really have any great platforms, but I'm going to hit this thick spot right here and see if that'll work. Yeah, it did. And I got myself a little step though. I should have known better than that. Yeah, I got myself a little step, but I probably still have time to work that out. You can see that or not. There's a step here just because it wasn't a good platform. That's what happens when you don't have a good platform. But luckily, I have another platform right here on this point, which is coming right down over that step. I can take that out. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. Obsidian's really tricky. It's, you know, it's a soft stone, so people think it's easier to use, but it's very fickle. Let's see if I can get a nice flake out of this. Yep, it crumbled, but I got rid of that stub. Oh. See, that last piece fell off. I have a little platform here on the back. Since the back edge is thick, I'm going to take it. So this is what I'm talking about. Just go for the flake. Don't worry about, you know, trying to make that perfect point. Go flake by flake. It's kind of zen-like. I'm going to bill it down. Smaller billet. Glad I did. I'm going to make myself a couple of platforms here because it's still thick. When you're making these platforms though, make sure you're supporting the back of that spall, that bifacer. It's not going to, it's just going to crack in half. If it does, who cares? Now you got 2 points instead of 1. Yeah, he's starting to get there. I'm going to take one more flake on the back. And I'm going to go back to the front. Always trying to keep things somewhat symmetrical as best you can. There we go, that was a nice sound. Got myself a little bit of a step there again, but I had plenty of time to take that out from the other side. Not sure if you can see that step, but I have a platform right there. I could probably take that out right now if I wanted to. In fact, let's just go for it. It's kind of a little higher of a platform than I would prefer, but let's just see. I might make it, I might not. In fact, I'm gonna touch up that platform a little bit just to increase my chances. There we go. Sometimes you have to build your platforms or adjust the ones that you naturally have. It's okay, it's just the way it is. I don't know if I should use the small billet or the big one. I think I'm going to use the bigger one. Ew. Yeah, so as soon as I billet it down, I got a much better flake. Some of that is just trial and error. You have to figure it out. But you see I cleared up that step, cleaned up that step rather. I'm starting to thin this out nicely. It's starting to become a nice thin biface. I think I'm at the point where I'm going to retire the medium-sized billet and keep using the smaller one, which to be honest with you I'm more comfortable with anyway. So now I'm noticing, I'm looking for thick spots. At this point, when you start to thin out, you want to start looking for thick spots. That's what you want to address. So now there's a thick spot right up here. I have kind of a platform ready. I'm just going to tap it a little bit, lower it just a tad, not a lot. And now I'm going to grind it. And of course, you always grind your platforms, especially with obsidian. Obsidian, you have to just grind crazily. All right. I've got to make sure I support this. I don't want to break it. I spent this much time on it. Okay, it shattered, but I got a nice clean flake all the way across. And now I can identify my next thick spot. Cleared that out. Now there's a thick spot right here. I don't have a platform though, so I need to make myself a platform. And don't be too worried about, if you need to make yourself a platform that offsets your center line, that's okay. You can correct that later. And there we go. Got a nice one. So, grind it. A little bit closer to the tip than I was hoping, but that's all right. The sandstone grinder works good, but it kind of gets bound up with dust after a while. There we go. That's a nice flake. You see that nice flake came across? Left me a platform here. I'm still thick on the tip though, so I need to adjust that. And if you're thick on one end or the other, make sure you're really good on your support, because that end shock will just snap it right in the middle. And I hope that doesn't happen here, but we'll see if it does. Oh, look at that. Beautiful overshot flake all the way across. That's what you want to see. And that just thinned it out a ton. Yeah, I apologize for being so excited, but when you get those flakes, it's just, you can't help but be super excited. So I'm trimming up the edge here. Leaning a little bit this way, just because I want to try and, I want the convexity, right? The convexity, the concavity to be on the underside, right? So that's why I'm doing this way, because ultimately that concavity is going to be my platform, right? Ooh. Switch up my game plan here. Okay, great. So I was able to make myself a platform. Sometimes it's not easy. The way things are going, we might have ourselves a nice little knife blade or spear point. Nice flakes coming off of there. We haven't broke it yet, so that's good. Although I've got a nasty spot right there. I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but it's a low spot, but boy, it's ugly looking. It's kind of got some crushed edges. I'm trying to address that right now, just to clean it up so that maybe my next pass be a little cleaner. And this is when you really want to use that small billet, because you got control. It's not a huge amount of force. Let's see what happens. Okay, got a decent flake. Clean that up a little bit. So now I'm just looking for spots where there are thick spots, places where I think I can clean up a little bit. Now that we're starting to thin the biface out a little bit, I'm a little bit more cautious as to where I'm taking my flakes. I'm going to take this platform here. It drives right into a hinge, which sometimes that'll just stall your flake out. But it's a small enough hinge, and I think I can get deep enough. I'm going to try and undercut it. If you don't know what undercutting is, Google it, or I'll do a video on it, or ask me in the comments. Yeah. Didn't completely undercut it, but I've got other platforms, other directions I can take. Bad. There we go. Nice firm flake. You can see that one come off. Just peel that off. That certainly helps the cause. But as we get thinner, you want to be careful. You want to look, where do the flakes need to come off, and if you got a thick spot, be careful, because it could break your point. I got a thick spot on the tip, which is really bad. That makes it really risky. So I need to be careful when I'm taking off these flakes in the front, and I need to make sure that I'm supporting the entire piece. There we go, that was a nice flake. You can hear it. You can hear that sound when you get that nice crack. You know you got a nice flake. And usually when you have a nice flake, it sets you up with another good platform. I've got a great one right there. But I'm going to wait on taking it because I still want to thin this tip out more. I'm going to do a little trimming. It's going to help me set up my next platform. So I want to thin this tip out before I get too involved in anything else. And sometimes you'll lose a little bit of length. Don't worry about it. It's just part of the game. So all in all, even though I haven't worked Obsidian in a while, I'm pretty happy. Still don't have a decent center line, but I'll work on that. So you can see that small that we started with, we've got it pretty thin now. This I would consider a biface. It's got two sides to it, it's relatively thin, ready to be finished off. I see a lot of good platforms to take. It's so tempting. In fact, I'm going to take a couple right now. I'm going to go back in, like in the beginning, I'm going to grind the entire edges, which is good practice to get into anyway, because if you don't have a glove, which normally I don't, but I really just didn't want to get cut today, you want to grind all these edges so that when you're working with it, you don't get cut. So you can see I've been focusing really, oh, just took a flake off with my grinder. I've been focusing really just on taking good flakes. And just by focusing on taking good flakes, you know, you naturally start to get a good by face because you're not, you know, hyper focused on having to do everything perfectly and make this great point. It's almost zen-like. You just sort of have to let go and let the rock do what it wants to do. You know, you try and control it as best you can, but sometimes it's out of your control. And when you can kind of find that balance, you'll either make an awesome point or you make a bunch of gravel, and you're okay with it either way. So I'm going to finish this up, but this video is already longer than I wanted it to be, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But you know, thank you for watching, and you know, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you can see it really well. This preform that came down real thin out of that piece that we had. We also have a bunch of flakes. These are just the big flakes that we can make other stuff out of. You know, pretty much every flake that came off here, even in the junk pile, we can make something with, a necklace or something. So if you're a beginner napper, or you're an advanced napper, or you're a frustrated napper, just please know that with time, you'll definitely, you know, it'll burn into your brain and it'll click. I guarantee you it will. But in the meantime, just focus on that every single flake. It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. Just focus on the flake. And if the flake comes off good, great. If it doesn't come off good, think about, you know, what did it sound like? What did it feel like? What wasn't right? And you know, if you just keep thinking flake by flake, you'll end up with a nice arrowhead at the end, or a spear point, or whatever it is you're looking for. And you know, I've rambled enough, but if you have any questions, any comments, I hope you enjoyed this video. I promise there will be more to come. I've been a little bit delinquent in publishing my videos, but there are reasons for that. So until next time, this is Paleo Greenbird signing out.